minus 1 minute. T minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Shout out to Kop-Ish.
Shout out to Kopish, guys.
Keep all the good work
the
up.
two legends, Emil Heskey, Howard Gill. Can't get much better than that guy. Yeah. You know what to do now. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm with legends, guys. Hello, lovely people. Hope you're well and welcome back to another live match preview. This time we are back in the Champions League. Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid. The reverse fixture where Liverpool were able to get a 3-2 win against our Spanish rivals, also known as the Spanish Burnley to some. I think that's a bit disingenuous. However, that is what some people call them. First and foremost, people, before we get into the video, do smash the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And yeah, let's chop it up, people. So obviously off the back of a very, very disappointing draw against Brighton, I was also going to say we lost the game because it kind of felt that way when you're in a demanding, well, when you're in a great position of 2-0 up and then you concede 2 and you end up drawing the game. It's heart-wrenching and very frustrating. So it almost did feel like a loss. However, we did get a point in that game. We're still undefeated this season, but we've got a massive test now. And it was a massive test when we played them at their place and we were able to get the win. 3-2 victory over Atletico, penalty from Salah. The first goal was a deflected shot by Salah and then an absolutely world-class volley by Naby Keita. It gave us the victory on the night. However, I think this game is going to be very different. Don't know about you guys, but this is a very different Liverpool going into this game. Now, everyone in defence seems to be fit. Midfield is the issue, though, isn't it? Like that's the elephant in the room. Midfield is the issue. And again, a lot of us in the chat and me and Drifty went back and forth about midfield on Saturday after the game and sort of having 2 sleeps after that. I still don't know where my head's at with midfield. It doesn't seem right. For the first time under sort of the main reign of Klopp, I'm going sort of from 17-18 up until now. This is the first time where I've really seen the midfield this depleted and been this unsure about our midfield, not because of the quality we have, but because of the personnel available and also the history of injuries and inconsistent form, etc. So, I mean, it's a game that I think we can win. I think it's a game we should go and try to win. However, what we have in this group at the moment is the beauty of having a bit of a buffer because we have won all 3 of our games. So we sit on 9 points. If I'm not mistaken, Atletico sit on 4 points. Porto, I think, sit on 4 points as well. I'd have to double check that for you. In fact, I'll check that for you right now, people, while I'm just talking. But we have got a nice little buffer. However, I think this game becomes quite important because what we saw last season is that we want to qualify as soon as possible so we can potentially rest some of our players. And yes, obviously we didn't do that last year, but I do think Klopp would have learned from that and I think he would do it this time around. So yes, I was correct. Liverpool on 9 points, Atletico Madrid on 4 points, Porto on 4 points, and funny enough, AC Milan on 0 points, which is crazy considering they're pretty much top of their league. So we have got a buffer. And again, I'm not saying I want us to lose this game, but if we were to lose this game, we'd still be top of the group and the group would still be in our hands. However, we win this game, not only does it secure us qualification to the next round, but it also puts a lot of pressure on Atletico Madrid and Porto and AC Milan, depending on how the rest of the results go. Now, AC Milan coming into this game are on a bit of patchy form, if I'm going to be honest. They obviously lost against us and they drew their 2 games after that 2-2. And then at the weekend, they did win 3-0. So again, it's not like they're sort of just shutting up shop and winning games like they kind of have been known to do. They're known to win 1s and 2-0s, and rarely do they concede goals. However, they have been a lot more open this season. I think we're seeing maybe an evolution of how Atletico Madrid are playing. Like they're not being as defensive and they're coming out at teams a bit more now. But if they do that, I think that plays into our hands. And I think we saw that a lot in the reverse fixture at their place. They did come and they did press. They did try and attack us. And I mean, they had a good game against us, but we were just clinical on the night. And I think we were deserving of our win. That being said, though, I think this game will be very different. I actually see it being the opposite. I see us having to play against a parked bus. They know they can't lose this game. If they win this, if they draw this game, they move on to 5 points and they still know they have Atletico. So they have Porto and they have AC Milan that they have to play. And you'd fancy them to win both those games. If they lose this game and Porto win their game and go 3 points above them, or AC Milan winning and they get 3 points, it makes the group a lot tougher for them to get through. And one thing they will not want to do is get knocked out of the Champions League at this stage. That would be a disaster for Atletico Madrid. Now, I know they're not the powerhouse of a Real Madrid or Barcelona, but they are, in my opinion, the best team in Spain right now. They have to win this game. So even though I do think they'll park the bus for a large majority, I think there'll be a time where they actually do come out and play against us. So it may be a game where we have to be very patient, wait for them to come out, and that's when we try and do our best work. Shout out to John Conway with your super chat. Big up to yourself as always, John. Good afternoon, Callum. Good afternoon to yourself, John. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening to everyone watching wherever you are in the world as well. So now we've spoken about that, we have to speak about our team. Now, again, I've spoken about midfield so far. Defense has to be addressed as well. And got to shout out Chris Brack from LFC Day Trippers. The defense hasn't looked right. It just hasn't. And again, we kind of expect our defense to look right because we haven't made that many changes in defense. However, when you look at it, Virgil was out all season last season, pretty much. Gomez was out for a large chunk of the season, and so was Matip. So even though they've been at the club for a while and they played alongside each other, they haven't built up that cohesiveness over the last year or two because they've not been able to play enough games together. And then obviously Konate's new and Konate's still getting used to the league, still getting used to our system, getting used to our team, etc. So even though we have quality personnel there, there's not that cohesion yet, in my opinion. They haven't built up that form, that nous, that navigation, that almost telepathic thinking with each other. So I think that will take time. Plus, we're rotating more, which again, I don't have a problem with. However, it's fullbacks where I have the main issue. And look, I love Robbo to bits, but there's certain times you have to look at a player and say, right, he's out of form, take him out of the team and let him recover. I think that's the one we need to look at right now with Robbo. Again, Trent having an up and down season, in my opinion. But again, no disrespect to Nico, but I don't think we have the player there in Nico to come in and challenge Trent, especially in a game like this. I would not be confident throwing Nico into this game. And I can't say the same about Simica. So again, it comes down to upgrading on that position, but that's a talk for January / the summer. So we won't even go into that now. But I think something needs to be done with defense, but at the same time, midfield as well needs to be looked at. So I'm going to give you a team that I would play. And I want to see where you guys sit on it and stand on it. Obviously, you drop your thoughts in the comments, etc. So in goal, obviously, Alisson. Right back, I'm going Trent because I think we have to. There's Nico I wouldn't throw into this game. Milner's injured. Then I would go for Matip and Gomez in this game. Now, I thought Virgil was really good against Brighton. Could have done better, in my opinion, for their second goal. But I thought he was excellent throughout. But I don't want him to run into the ground. I don't want Virgil running into the ground either. He's just come back from a really bad injury. And I do think he could do with a little break. And again, I know I want us to get out of this game with a win, so we just obviously lock off the group and we're through and we can effectively just rotate for the last 2 games. But I also want to look at the long-term standing of the season as well. And I think Virgil being well and able and capable for the rest of the season, as opposed to just burning him out now, could have rewards beyond belief towards the end of the season. So I would go Gomez, who's not had a lot of football, and Matip. I think Matip's reading the game and Gomez's recovery pace, I think, could do us well. Now, again, Gomez has been badly out of form, but I think that's because he's not played much football. So I think he plays this game. I think it could help us quite a lot. Then at left back, I would go Tsimikas. So again, I know I'm making quite a lot of changes in defense, but again, that's what we have a squad for, in my opinion. I think that's what we should be able to do. So that's what I would do. Now in midfield, this is where it becomes a bit challenging. Henderson, for me, has to play at the base. I thought he had a really good game and was the only midfielder, in my opinion, that really turned up against Brighton. Here's where it gets tricky because Fabinho's not available. Kate is not going to be available. I would throw Thiago in here. I know it's a big risk. I know just come back from injury. I'd throw him in. I think we need someone in midfield who can actually control the game and control the tempo of the game. Thiago, for me, has to play. He has to. And then alongside them two, I'd probably go Jones. And again, I just think he's better suited to what we are in 2021 than Oxlade-Chamberlain. Both at their peak, then Ox is a better player, but we haven't seen the peak Ox for a while now, and I don't know if we ever will. So for me, I would go with Thiago, Hendo at the base, and Curtis Jones in midfield. Now up top, again, I'm going to rotate again. And before anyone thinks I'm crazy or Drifty standing behind me with a loaded gun, he's not. But I would go Salah on the right. I would go Mane on the left. And I would go with Origi through the middle. I think playing Origi in this game could be really handy for us, especially where I think they would play a bit of a low block. I think if Origi maintains his discipline and stays central, I think we could use his height and his aerial prowess, the fact that he will pin defenders. I think we could use that to our advantage, especially for Salah and Mane. I think we saw in the AC Milan game as well, he's got an assist in him as well. So that's the route I would go down. Again, I know some people are going to be like Marmite when it comes to Origi, which is fair enough. Look, I'm not even his biggest fan. Everyone knows that. But at the same time, I do think he can get a game here. And I do think he kind of deserves it, to be honest. I think there's no point just having him around just for the sake of it if we can't play him. I mean, all the talking to someone was, if we can't sell him, then we're happy to keep him. So, again, if we're happy to keep him, let's play him. And I think he did well against AC Milan. Obviously, he scored that outrageous goal against Preston. Let's just give him a chance, I say. And again, if things go well, you can always take off a Salah and bring on like a Minamino. But that's what I would do. I think by having Henderson and Thiago in midfield, I think you maintain some control. I think if Jones is playing with those two, I think he can be more adventurous in his play and drift further forward. I think defensively for this game, Trent and Tsimikas on the wings could be helpful, especially with Origi if he plays. And then with Matip and Gomez, I think it's a case of them two getting some more game time against higher level opposition. In recent weeks, we've just seen them play against sort of, again, without being disrespectful, the lower tier of opposition. I think if they can start playing against your Atletico Madrid with slightly less pressure than a normal game, I think it could really help us and put us in good stead. So that would be my team. Guys, let me know who your team would be. Just going to go through some of the questions here and comments. So Callum, what about Trent in midfield, Gomez at right back? Yeah, I think Klopp shut this one down quite a few times, to be honest. I wouldn't go Trent in midfield. I think he's the best right back in the world, and I don't want him to become a very good centre midfielder just to plug up holes. I'd rather him stay and be the best right back and us address midfield properly rather than just throwing him in there because he has some of the attributes and qualities it takes to be a good midfielder. Now, I know he's played there, but again, even if you're playing him right back, I don't like the idea of Gomez playing right back. So if you're playing Trent centre midfield, I don't like the idea of Gomez playing right back. So for me, it's no. Messi FC says Tyler Morton deserves a chance. you know what? Tyler's a good player, and he really has represented himself very well when he's played. However, throwing him in against Atletico Madrid, I think, would be a massive ask, a massive ask. LRB Rams, shout out to Rams. Cal mad shout, I'd play double pivot of Hendo and Morton until Fab comes back. Again, it can be done. I just think it's a risk. I do think it's a risk playing Morton right now in this game. I wouldn't be opposed to playing a double pivot. So, but I'd prefer the double pivot to be Hendo and Thiago if we're going to do that right now with the personnel we have available to us. Sammy says, Cal, you really need to look, you need to hit the barbers. Your hair's looking like Salah, but messier. Also, Robert has defensive weakness. I don't think he's defensively weak. I do think he's bang out of form at the moment, though. And my barber appointment will be this week, people. I will be looking a little less rough, hopefully. So apologies if I'm that bad to look at, Sammy. And Minamino still isn't top 3 selected when it comes to technical ability in the squad. But I'm not coming at you, Sammy. I'm not coming at you, bro. Ultra 3 style swordsman says, Cal, a bit off topic, but Nico Williams potentially as a right wing. Thoughts? Nah, not for me. In the dying minutes of a game, yes, but not from the start for me. Not for me. I think that's just not what I'd want to see. Again, I'm not saying it's a stupid shout or anything like that. I would not want to see Nico playing right wing from the start of the game. That would actually really wind me up if I'm going to be honest. Mix says Trent Matip, VVD, and Simicast. Again, I understand the shout for VVD. It's just I'm not saying I want to wrap him up in cotton wool. I just think we have 4 centre backs who are all fit. Let's utilize them, in my opinion. If we can't trust Gomez and Matip to play against Atletico Madrid, and both of them are Champions League winners, both of them have played in high-pressured, high-caliber games, then I think questions need to be asked, and I think they're more than capable of navigating through this game. Ali A says, Ali, Trent, Matip, VVD, Simicast, Hendo, Thiago, Jones, Salah, Jota, and Bobby. Again, another good shout. The reason why I've gone with Mane, I think he'd more attack the fullback, and defensively, I thought he was not just defensively. I thought overall he was excellent against Brighton. Didn't deserve to be on the losing team, and is starting to look a bit more like his old self as well. Shout out to Nino for your super chat. Greetings, Cal. Hope all is well. Do you think Klopp is capable of playing 3 at the back since we are short in midfield? I think we have the personnel for the first time under Klopp to really play a 3 at the back system and actually be solid with it and not just have players there for the sake of it. I would like us to be able to adapt to that formation sometimes and to rotate between that and 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-3, even 4-4-2. Sometimes I think we have the personnel for whatever reason, though, Klopp does not fancy 3 at the back or 5 at the back, however people like to sort of use it. I like the formation. I think the formation can be used really well. I just don't think Klopp likes it. Just for a bit of fun, though, if I was going 3 at the back, I would go Virgil in the middle, Gomez to the left of him, and Konate to the right. I wouldn't go Virgil and Matip in a back 3. I think you either play one of the two as a central figure in those 3 positions, and then I think you play Gomez and Ibu either side of a Virgil or Matip. Then I would go obviously Trent and Robbo on the fullbacks. Up top, I would stick with a front 3 of Mane, Salah / Jota, and Bobby / Jota, or Bobby / Origi. And then midfield, the 2 in midfield, if everyone's fit, would probably be Hendo and Fabinho. So that's the way I do it. But again, even if you got 3 at the back, you may not even need to start Fabinho. You could go a Hendo and Thiago there, give you a little bit more creativity as well. So that would be my shout. I'd love to know what you guys think of that. Got a couple more. Special K says we can't play Jones and Ox in midfield again. It leaves us exposed through the middle. Agreed. And I think everyone before we signed Thiago was saying, let's try Ox and Keita. And I think that's been put to bed as well, because again, we just look defensively wide open. So I don't think we'd see it. Ali A says, Cal, what about a diamond in midfield? Yeah, I'm good with a diamond in midfield. I said I genuinely do believe we have different formations we can play. I don't know if we'll do it. Klopp seems to like what he's got. Sammy says, big up Cal and Origi deserves more game time. He does deserve more game time. However, again, I've got to say, even though I'm not his biggest fan, I don't rate him that highly. If Origi deserves game time, then so does Minamino, and no one's really giving him a shout at the moment. And if I'm not mistaken, this season he's got a better goal to minute ratio than Origi. And everyone keeps on talking about Origi's goal to game ratio and goal to minute ratio, but Minamino I think has got a better ratio, but no one's really asking for him. So again, could this be a game? Again, I'm not saying I would do it, I wouldn't do it, but maybe Minamino needs to start being looked at a bit more. And if AFCON does go ahead and Salah, Mane do go, we are going to have to look to the likes of Minamino to try and get us 3 points in games and try and get us goals and assists, etc. Do we have to start playing him now? Do we start giving him more minutes? Because let's be honest, apart from the League Cup games, we barely see Minamino. Barely seen him. And even when games we've been winning, he doesn't even come off the bench. Those games where we need a goal, he came on against Brighton, but I don't think that was the right move by Klopp. I think that should have been Origi. It's difficult to say, man. It's difficult to say. I'd love to know your thoughts on Minamino. Here's another one from Velvet Sean. Could we see Saki midfield? If our players keep on getting injured or get suspended, then yeah, we could end up seeing it. Do I want to see it? Again, no. I don't think he's strong enough to play midfield. I think he's got good footwork and he can be good. I don't think he's good enough to play from midfield for us. But again, just my humble opinion. Haytham says Minamino works off the bench. I don't know if he does. I've not seen enough of him off the bench to say that he's a good impact player. So I don't know. Special K says, Cal, do you think us not replacing Genie is going to haunt us? We seem short of the type of player. Yeah, I do. And I think it's our old adage of you don't miss something until it's gone. A lot of the fan base really did treat Genie badly. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to sit here and say Genie pulled out 9 and 10 out of 10 performances every week. He didn't. But a lot of the time he could be relied on. And I keep on going back to the example of Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets. And again, before anyone goes crazy, I'm not comparing Fabinho, Henderson and Genie to Busquets, Xavi and Iniesta. They're not in the same realm. I think Busquets and Fabinho could be a conversation, but the other two, no, there's no argument there. Xavi and Iniesta was superior to Henderson and Genie. But in terms of the way they played and the way that we built the team based on that midfield and based on that engine room and based on the midfield being team players and not looking for self-glory, I think we got too hung up on the fact that Genie and Hendo weren't getting enough goals and assists as opposed to actually looking at what they did for the rest of the team. Because without Genie and Hendo, then Trent, Robbo, Salah, Mane don't get the goals and assists they get. So they were doing a job, and I now think he's starting to be appreciated. But look, as Rose Selassie says, we seriously need to move on from Genie. We do. But the problem is, we haven't moved on from Genie because we haven't replaced him in the same way a lot of people haven't moved on from Coutinho because we haven't replaced him either. It's all about replacements. I don't hear people talking about Reina anymore. I don't hear people talking about Hupia Carragher anymore. I don't hear people talking about Mascherano anymore. I don't hear people talking about Suarez, Torres, and all these players because those players have been replaced adequately. Next has to be Genie. We have to replace Genie, in my opinion. And the sooner that happens, the better. Got to go for a couple more. Shout out to Lakers, my bro. Can we talk about Trent on free kicks being poor also? Lakers, I'm so glad you mentioned this. I must be the only one who, when we get a free kick, I just think, oh, what's the point? I couldn't tell you the last time we scored direct from a free kick. We need a set piece taker. We really, really need a set piece taker. And again, we tried some innovative stuff over the weekend and it just didn't work. Harvey seems like a player who can take a free kick, but again, how often is he going to play? we need a free kick taker. Again, Thiago's not really a set piece taker like that. Hendo's not. Milner used to be, not really as much now. Salah's not. Mane's not. Bobby's not. Like, where are our set piece takers? We just don't seem to have any. So I'd be interested to see how that gets addressed, because we need to have a threat from there, and we haven't had a threat from that for a little while. Shaka's gone. Harry Wilson's gone. Shout out to Demo Dre in the comments as well. So yeah, and shout out to Naldo for Shaqiri shout as well. VVD from Pabs and Grills. That's a shout again. Don't understand why he's not even being looked at for set pieces. Yeah, really don't get it. Really don't get it. Johnny T Rex says, how's Harvey's injury coming on? It seems like he's getting back, but again, we won't rush him. He's a kid. He has to be nurtured back and ease back in my opinion. So the less rushing, the better. And then kind of go from there. So people, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give my score prediction, and I'm going to ask you guys to do the same. But if you haven't already, please do smash the like button if you can, please, people. Really help us to grow as a channel. So I'm going to go with 2-1 to Liverpool. I think we'll just edge it. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be an even tougher game to watch. But I think we edge it out. I think we get the job done and we get through this game, and we can rotate for the last 2 games, and it will help us with our league form as well, I think. So that's what I'm going for. Guys, I'd love you guys to put your comments of your score predictions and the team you'd like to start against Atletico Madrid. We are going to be back later on this evening, probably at a slightly earlier time, around 6:15 for the Monday night live show, because we're trying to not clash with the Monday night football. So please do join us for that. We will have members videos out this week. We will have watch alongs. So make sure you stay tuned with our social media. So we're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So make sure you check us out on all those platforms. Follow us over there as well. And people, massive thank you for everyone who watched. Massive thank you for everyone who slid in the comments and left some very, very good comments. To Kop-Ish, yes, I have seen Ivan Tony's comments. We're going to chop that up in the Monday night live show. So make sure you tune in for that. And until later, people, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed. We're Kopish, and we are out, people. Take care.